Now, shifting focus, Donald Trump's legal woes mount ahead of the 2024 presidential polls. Former U.S. president surrendered on charges that he illegally schemed to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia, a brisk 20-minute booking that yielded a historic first. He was later released on $200,000 bond. Former U.S. president was arrested on racketeering, conspiracy and election fraud charges. Like the other defendants in the case who have surrendered so far, the 77-year-old Trump had his mugshot taken during the booking process, a first for any serving or former U.S. president. Trump described the criminal case against him as the travesty of justice. He also slammed the criminal prosecutions against him as election interference. Trump is the first U.S. president in history to face criminal charges. He's been accused of paying hush money to a porn star in Florida for mishandling top-secret government documents and of conspiring to upend his 2020 election loss to Democrat Joe Biden.
What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it. I've never had such support, and that goes with the other ones too. What they're doing is election interference. They're trying to interfere with an election. There's never been anything like it in our country before. This is their way of campaigning. And this is one instance, but you have three other instances. It's election interference. So I want to thank you for being here. We did nothing wrong at all, and we have every right, every single right, to challenge an election that we think is dishonest, that we think it's very dishonest.
Our colleague Lenka White is joining us now from the United States. Lenka, thank you so much for speaking to India today. Now, what happened in the past few hours, the arrest of the former president ahead of fresh elections in USA? What can you tell us about what happened?
That's a great question. I have to say, I'm actually on the spot in Georgia, in Atlanta, and I was today present right in front of the court, the prison where Donald Trump was turning himself in. And I have to say that the situation was very tense. There were tens of people waiting in front of the prison for Donald Trump, and he actually did turn himself in at around 8 p.m. and spent there about 20 minutes inside the prison. And of course, the situation, it was all over the news, right, before he was coming in, and it's going to be there right now and days after, because this is a very heavy case, and it's the biggest one Donald Trump is facing right now, which he's facing right now, 4 indictments.
Lenka, as you said, you were in Georgia, in fact. What was the mood like? Were there Trump supporters around?
So I actually went also in, across the center of Atlanta. And I have to say, I didn't see any protests. There was one police car in the center of Atlanta. But the closer you were getting to the prison, the more people they were around, and the more police people, of course, they were around as well. There were also helicopters, and they closed off some streets. And regarding the supporters, they were about 30 supporters of Donald Trump and about 10 opposing Donald Trump. And the supporters, I asked them, how do you feel about it that he's having 4th indictment? Does it make you feel, less strong about him? And all of them actually said, no, on the other hand, we actually feel even stronger and we want to support him. And this is a witch hunt and this is against the Constitution. So this was sort of the mood. They were singing. All of them had logos, on their T-shirts, on their socks, on their pants. Everyone was very dressed up, and it was very interesting to observe that.
Lenka, what next for the former president? He's running for presidential elections again next year. What happens to his political future?
That's a great question. There are many debates about it. What will actually happen to him, if anything? Is he going to prison or is he not? But what I can say is that definitely since this all started, his rating has been actually going up. And the people feel more stronger about him. And all of the supporters told me thank you for that, because you're actually doing him an advertisement. You're actually, showing him to the world and to the United States, and showing on the flaws we are having in the system. So there is this twofold sort of view whether it's worse or better for him. But many of them think actually it's going to be better, and that he's getting a lot of attention thanks to that.
Lenka, thank you so much for joining us from the US and bringing us an update as to what happened in Georgia.